Hello, my name is Steven Spencer, and I did my project on theatrical release for the last Metroid movie, a live-action film by Nintendo. First off, we're going to talk about the top 5 expenditures that will be for us to make this film, and then we'll go into detail. They are casting, computer graphics, props/costuming, marketing, travel/housing. We will start with what will be the most expensive of the 5, and that is going to be casting. Ideally, we want to cast Tilda Swinton as Samus, who is the story's main character. Tilda on average gets $41 million per film, so we should have to expect to pay her at least this much to do the film. Next, we'll do computer graphics. The vast majority of this film will take place in space, and since we can't obviously send a camera crew to space, this will all have to be done by computer generated, along with the special effects that go along with the video games, such as explosions and gunfire. Another big expenditure is going to be props and costume. There isn't really a market for Samus' power suit or her blaster. That's one thing we're going to have to make ourselves, along with any sets for inside the spaceship. We don't want these things to look cheap or unrealistic, so we'll have to spend some money here. With any film, teasers, trailers, and merchandise is what makes people interested in seeing. A typical 30-second ad on national primetime TV costs $112,000 per airing. With wanting to film in locations all over the world as we want to do, and we will cover later on in this presentation, lodging and airfare is going to be out of the roof. We also have to make sure everyone has their passports. There are 3 phases of production. Over the next few slides, we'll break down into detail which each phase is and the time frame we expect for each phase. They are pre-production, production, and post-production. Pre-production is the phase where the script or story is written, the cast is found, props made, training for the movie is taught. For that reason, I believe it's going to take us 6 months in this phase, along as Tilda isn't busy with any other projects. The production phase is when actual shooting takes place. The film is fairly simple and there will be at most a cast of 12 people. Therefore, I don't think it will take very long to do the shooting, as long as they remember their lines. I think 4 months is ample time for this. I believe the post-production phase is going to take the longest because of computer-generated graphics and effects. Therefore, I think it will take 9 months for this to happen, setting the movie from start to finish at 19 months, a little over a year and a half. Next, we'll talk a little bit about our story, and our storyline, and what it's all about. In our story, Samus realizes she is the last of her species, but the Metroid have come to Earth, which after decades of nuclear war appears to be empty. She has a huge fear of being alone, and starts seeing things. She finds out that her biggest enemy of all time is her own mind, as memories of her past haunts her. Her memory had been wiped clean when she began training as a bounty hunter, and those who trained her had killed her parents so they could take her. Blaming herself for her parents' death, as she nears the Metroid's nest, she realizes it is also the last of its kind. And she also finds out the planet isn't as empty as she thought, because there are humans trying to protect the Metroid. Now we're going to start talking about some of the things required to make this movie. One of those things is training. There is going to have to be training in martial arts and unarmed fight choreography for hand-to-hand combat. In armed fight combat for those scenes where Samus uses her blaster. There will also have to be some training in working with stunt doubles, because some of our less experienced actors may not have ever worked with stunt doubles. The whole filming process is touch and go, learn as you go process too. It's constantly changing based off what the producer and or director wants. Speaking of which, let's see what my choices are for these positions. To me, the best producer for the job is going to be Jason Blum. He has produced 113 shows or movies, and he's produced the most profitable movie in Hollywood history, bringing in over $200 million on a $15,000 budget. He has won 6 awards for his work. He typically does horror films, though, so I feel like he will give this film the vibe that it needs. The best director for this film would be Christopher Nolan. He has directed 14 movies and won 102 awards for his work. He is well known to give his movies the twist that makes them entertaining and educational at the same time. He's also my personal favorite director. The typical crew needed to make a film like this is a cinematographer, an art director, a production sound mixer, a director, a producer, and an editor. A cinematographer is a person who oversees or directs photography and camera work in movie making, especially one who operates the camera, is responsible for making artistic and technical decisions related to the image. An art director is one whose job it is to realize the production designer's creative vision for all the sets and locations of the film. So basically they're in charge of the sets and making sure things are right for the film. The sound mixer's job is to record all sound recording on the set during the filmmaking production. The director chooses the cast members and he leaves the creative aspects of filmmaking. He guides the whole crew. The producer oversees the project from conception to completion. He's overall in charge. And finally, the editor. He works closely with the director, crafting the takes into a whole movie to ensure that the whole story flows effortlessly from beginning to end. Now we're going to talk about the software that we use to make this movie. We're going to use the program Blender to make computer-generated graphics and editing. With this software, we can break it down frame by frame and use automatic rendering to ensure the computer graphics look as realistic as possible. The program Final Cut Pro 10 will be used in editing the film that has been shot to ensure it all fits together seamlessly. And the program FL Studio 12 will be used to ensure that all audio recorded will be used as clear as possible at right levels so that we don't have background noise overriding the dialogue. For music, I am suggesting that we use the music from composer Robert W. Smith, particularly the songs Into the Storm, The Tempest, and Inferno. I grew up playing these songs, and to me they have a very deep meaning behind them. These three, along with the song Fate of the Gods by composer Stephen Reneke, will set the ambience for the film. Location is everything, and with film it's no different. I've chosen 3 locations to film that I feel will set the mood and will tell the right story for the movie. Valle de la Luna, Moon Valley, in Chile looks like something out of this world. And that's exactly what I plan on using it for, alien landscape. Ferryman Castle in Ireland has that perfect ruin-like feel, along with vast fields of green. I would want this to be where Samus first lands on Earth. It reminds us of Earth's past. And the deep mountains of North Carolina have many caves and places to hide, and I feel like this would be the perfect place for the humans and the metroids to hide. Of course, we want this to look as realistic as possible, so we'll be using computer-generated graphics. They're usually a lot easier to do as you don't have to draw out every frame. We'll also shorten the time frame needed to complete the project. Christopher Nolan, however, tends to like to use as little as possible in the way of computer graphics. In conclusion, this project is a very exciting one, and we have gone over every aspect of the outline. I believe by pitching this towards the millennial generation, which are the ones that would originally play these games, we can make it a blockbuster hit. Thank you for your time. Steven Spencer, out.